Welcome to my YouTube video. In this video, we are basically looking at the biology exam preparation part 1, and we're going to tackle questions on nutrition in plants and in animals. And our first question is, an organism that manufactures its own food is called A, we have got heterotrophs, B, parasites, C, we have got autotrophs, then D, here is supposed to be D, we've got saprophytes, and the answer is autotrophs. Why are we picking autotrophs? For you to understand this, you need to understand that what you need to understand first by you need to first start by understanding what nutrition is. What is nutrition? So I'm saying nutrition, this is the process by which living organisms obtain their own food. So this is the process. It's a process by which living organisms obtain food. If that is nutrition, we need to understand that there are two modes of nutrition. There are how many? There are two main modes of nutrition. One, we have got what is known as autotrophic nutrition. What is autotrophic nutrition? So autotrophic nutrition is basically the type of nutrition where an organism makes its own food, and such organisms are called autotrophs. So all organisms that carry out autotrophic nutrition are called autotrophs. And what you need to understand as well is that some organisms under autotrophs, they can use energy from sunlight in order for them to make food. So if an organism known as an autotroph uses energy from light or sunlight to make its own food, it's going to be called a photoautotroph. Then those that use energy from chemicals in order for them to make their own food, we are going to call them chemotrophs or chemoautotrophs. Yes, they're going to be called chemoautotrophs. Yes, so that's what it's all about. So if you're talking about autotrophic nutrition, you're basically talking about autotrophs, and it means that you're talking about organisms that can manufacture their own food, and that's the reason why we're picking C as autotrophs. Then the other mode of nutrition is known as heterotrophic nutrition. What is heterotrophic nutrition? This is a type of nutrition where organisms take food present in the body of other organisms. It may include parasitic nutrition, saprophytic nutrition, as well as holozoic nutrition, because these organisms are not manufacturing their own food, rather they're just getting food that is already in the bodies of other organisms. Yes, that's what heterotrophic nutrition is. No wonder we picked C as an autotroph, because it manufactures its own food. The rest are examples of heterotrophic nutrition. Let's go to 2. 2 is saying green plants are classified as photoautotrophs, because they can manufacture their own food using energy from light or using energy from sunlight. But because they're using energy from sunlight, they're not just autotrophs, but these are autotrophs that are using energy from sunlight, and that's the reason why, because sunlight is involved, they attach the word known as photo. Photo means light. So photoautotrophs using energy from sunlight to make their own food. When you talk about a chemotroph, you're basically talking about using energy from means chemicals, using energy from chemicals to produce or to make their own food. Then parasites and saprophytes, these are basically heterotrophs. Maybe let me write the words. Heterotrophs. Yes, because they do not make their own food, rather they just obtain food that is already present in other bodies. Yes, so examples we've got parasitic nutrition and saprophytic nutrition, which can be carried out by a rhizopas. Then we've got question 3. Which organism feeds on dead organic matter? Other books will even put it like which organisms feed on dead, decaying organic matter. So we've got a tapeworm, we've got rhizopas, we've got a louse, and we've got a mosquito. A tapeworm is basically a parasite. A tapeworm is a what? Is a parasite. Specifically, it is an endoparasite. It is located inside the body of the host. Whilst we've got exoparasites, which are going to be located on the outside of the body of the host. So a parasitic nutrition is where an organism known as a parasite lives and feeds off another organism called the host, and in most instances the host is harmed. And an example of a parasitic organism is a tapeworm in this case, because we have it on the MCQ. Others we've got lice, a tick. Those are basically examples of parasites. Then we've got rhizopas. Let's look at rhizopas. Which organism feeds on dead decayed matter? The answer is rhizopas. So rhizopas carries out what is known as saprophytic nutrition. This one carries out what is known as saprophytic nutrition. We're going to talk about it more, and we're going to discuss the rhizopas in detail in part 2 of these videos. Which structure anchors rhizopas to its substrate? Which structure anchors the rhizopas to its substrate? So from in this question, for you to understand this question, the following things must be in your head. You need to understand to say the rhizopas looks something like this. Straight, fast. Then it has got the horizontal, the ones that looks like roots, like that. Then you can also put another one here. Then you can put horizontal. Then these, the one that looks like roots, follow like that. So we've got a structure that holds the asexual reproduction cells. So this entire thing is known as a sporangia. Sporangium. Let me write it perfectly well. So this is known as a sporangium. It's a sac-like structure which contains spores. Which contains spores. These are used in asexual reproduction. So then this structure is known as columella. Then the structure that holds the sporangium, this structure that holds the sporangium is known as the sporangiophore. Yes, so one thing that you need to understand is that the body of a rhizopas consists of thread-like structure called the hyphae. So the body of a rhizopas, let me write this down. The body of a rhizopas consists of thread-like structures. Thread-like structures called hyphae. Yes, thread-like structures called hyphae. These ones are specialized into different parts. So the ones that look horizontal, the hyphae, the one that looks horizontal, they're the ones we are calling the stolon. Then the one that looks like roots, these ones, they're the ones that we call the rhizoids. So you need to take note, say the rhizoid is the one that anchors the rhizopus on its substrate. Remember that dead or decaying organic matter that the rhizopus feeds on is the one that we are calling the substrate. Exactly. So a rhizopus carries out saprophytic nutrition, and it has got these parts that makes it possible for it to carry out its function. And so meaning in this case the answer is the rhizoid. Do you have another question? Oh yes, we've got a question which is saying, which stage of holozoic nutrition involves uptake of soluble food in blood? Okay, you have got digestion, assimilation, absorption, and ingestion. Before I answer this question, I would love to explain a few things. Number one, I want us to understand what holozoic nutrition is. Let's not just solve. Let's solve for the people. Holozoic nutrition. So holozoic nutrition is a type of heterotrophic nutrition which occurs in animals. Is a type of nutrition. It's a type of nutrition that occurs in animals in a specialized tube known as the alimentary canal. And it involves 5 stages. So you need to know these 5 stages from the beginning to the end without swapping them. So the first stage I'm writing on top here using at least a green ink. The first stage is the taking in of food into the mouth. Automatically, an animal always take in food into the mouth, and that is known as ingestion. Which is the act of taking in food into the mouth. Then the next stage is referred to as digestion. What is digestion? Which is basically the breaking down of large food particles or molecules into smaller ones, and it can be in 2 forms. When it is happening with the help of the teeth, it is known as physical digestion. When it's happening with the help of enzymes, it's called chemical digestion. We're going to do that in detail. So now the next stage after digestion has happened, it is basically now the uptake of soluble nutrients or soluble foods into the blood, and that is what is referred to as absorption. And finally, after absorption, now we have got the usage of the absorbed food, which is assimilation. This is basically the usage and incorporation of the soluble food, assimilation. Then finally, after assimilation, that's the time now people remove the undigested food to the outside of the body, and that is known as egestion, the removal of the undigested end products. And that's why we find things to do with feces, fecal matter. This is not an example of an excretory product. You need to take note of that. Thank you very much for watching my YouTube video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can at least each time, in the next time I'm going to post part 2, you'll be able to see it. If you want more videos like this, you can contact us on 0970 86 55 97. If you want extra lessons, private lessons, we can still offer such kind of lessons. If you want online lessons, we can still offer those lessons. Just contact us on that number. We'll be able to attend to you. Thank you very much.